Welcome, everybody, to episode, I believe it's 9 at this point, of MVP Podcast. We are having Katie Wild in today. She is the show was great, mindset guru in finance. We go through how she got to where she's at, the type of clients that she works with, how she breaks down finances and mindset on those people. She shared a story where we both got chills. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we both got chills. I almost started crying. It was amazing.
I made her stop crying. She stepped away, gave her some tissues. But no, it was a very impactful story. We're going to have her again, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. I'm already about to email her to make sure she comes back on.
I kept her over the time, and I'm sorry. But it's not often that you get to talk to somebody with that mindset that can, I don't know, teach people.
And she gets into your psyche. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
And it's so passive. It's not like a force like I'm gonna break you down before you build me up. Because she's military, so that mantra break down and build you up. She just goes with where you're at and tries to direct it a little bit and build it. So it was fascinating stuff. So Katie Mild, her company is
KatieMild.com.
KatieMild.com. That's how you get a hold of her. That'll be in the show notes and everything. But man, take a look at this one. You will get nuggets from it. It'll change how your mindset is just working, and it's really not that hard.
Should we jump on in?
Jump on in. Let's bring her on. So, tell us a little bit about your background. Where did you come from? How did you get to the position you're in right now?
So that's always I love that question, and it's always such a funny question because my professional background it's crazy. It's full of twists and turns, and it's so funny in life because when you're kind of going along, you don't always see it, but when you look back, you see the different connection points, and you see hints of of where things are going to unfold and where your life is going to go. Yep. Right? So you look back and you go, oh, of course I got to this moment here. You just don't always see it when you're in it, right?
Yeah.
So my first professional gig, if you will, out of college, I actually spent 6 years active duty in the Navy, and I came from a military family. It was something that was always just a big part of who my family was growing up. Right, proud military family.
Yeah.
But the reason I ended up going into it is because I got a Navy ROTC scholarship to college. So it was an opportunity to go to my dream school, have it paid for, and in exchange, I served time as an officer afterwards, right, once I got commissioned. So I spent 6 years in the Navy, traveled the world, deployed, did all of that, met incredible people, but I knew in my heart, as much as I learned, as great of a challenge as it was, I knew I wasn't going to make a full career, a 20, 30-year career out of that.
Yeah.
So my very last couple of years when I was active duty, I actually, went to the Navy base every day, went to work every day, and worked on my MBA in Chicago at night. So got my MBA and then transitioned from the military back into the civilian world. And from there, I worked for a retail tech startup for about a year. Then I went into corporate pharmaceutical procurement, and then from there into real estate. And real estate is where I really, really found my groove. It was something that was always, again, a big part of my family. My family owned rental properties. My mom was an award-winning realtor back in the 80s and just absolutely killed it. So real estate was always in my blood. And I finally made the leap and did that transition in 2015. So
that's awesome.
Real estate, I love real estate sales, love real estate investing. So
yeah, I love the stories of you start at one point and you end in real estate. Obviously our podcast is directed towards real estate, but I love hearing the path of how it took. We've had a couple guests that were history majors. We've had some that chose not to go to college, didn't do the college route, and made it in their successful in their field. So it's always interesting where you start and how you end up to where you're at. And that's cool that you kind of had that family background that you could lean on. I'm sure you leaned on your mom and your dad for their real estate background and military background to get through those paths.
I did. Let me tell you this. I think you'll get a kick out of this. So my mom, when I got into real estate, like my goal first year was, okay, I'm going to be the rookie of the year. Like I'm going to sell the most homes. I'm going to, out of all the other newbie real estate agents. And the reason I wanted to be rookie of the year is because my mom was a rookie of the year in 1984.
Okay.
And my mom's kind of legendary real estate story, when she was pregnant with me, and actually when she went into labor with me, so like she goes into labor with me, off she goes to the hospital with my dad. She's in the labor and delivery room, and the delivery doctor walks in. And so while she's gearing up to give birth to me, the doctor happens to mention, oh, I need to list my house for sale. So my
always
mom,
working,
being just always working, exactly. So my mom just gets to work. So she's she's doing Lamaze breeding, working on getting me into the world at the same time, prospecting and working on this delivery doctor.
That's awesome.
And so I was born, and the next morning after I was born, she presented a listing contract to the delivery doctor. He signed it, and she got the listing.
That's
and then
awesome.
She house.
That is awesome.
So it's my mom was a legend. And when I ultimately got into real estate sales management, I would tell that story to my new agents who were coming into the business. And I'm like, you have zero excuse for not lead generating and not prospecting.
Yeah, I mean, that's a real life. That's a real life example of, hey, get going. There is no excuse. You can do this anywhere if you have the drive to do it. And it sounds like your mom had some drive.
Exactly. Oh yeah. She was driven, to say the least.
That's awesome.
So she was a fabulous influence for my own real estate sales journey.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, just talking about your mom, obviously you're very close with her. What did you learn from her when you started in real estate to become Rookie of the Year? Like, what skills or tasks did she give you or mention to you for you to get started?
That's a great question. One of the things that she always said, especially when I was starting, she said, "Remember, Katie, this is a business where you're going to work and work and work and work, and it feels like nothing is happening, but things are happening beneath the surface, right?
Yep,
so it's like
that's true.
When you plant it, it's like a farmer. When a farmer plants seeds, you don't get corn the next day, right? You have to go through an entire season. And so the phrase that she would tell me is, remember, you have to prime the pump. You have to it's like an old-fashioned water pump where you're cranking. Water's not flowing at first, but you still have to crank and do the work, and then eventually the water flows, and when it flows, it's flowing consistently.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of priming the pump and working. And it was, for her, or the advice she was giving me was, you have to talk to everybody.
Yep.
You have to remind them you're in real estate, and whatever you decide to do, whatever lead generation you do, you have to be consistent, even when it feels like nothing is happening.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So, whether you're going the investment route or if you're an agent trying to find buyer leads, whatever you're doing, you have to prime the pump. And the second you stop priming the pump, you may not feel it immediately, but then you go 2-3 months down the road, and when all of your deals have closed, if you haven't been prospecting, your business is going to dry up, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So it's about consistently, even when it feels like you're too busy, quote unquote, too busy to be lead generating.
Yeah.
That's a fallacy.
Yeah.
It's not you have to always be looking for your next lead and filling that pipeline.
Yeah.
That was by far the best advice she gave me.
Yeah, that's great advice. I mean, if you can get out and talk, like you said, talk to everybody, let them know that you're in real estate. If you can double that with being genuine, I mean, the sky's the limit with it. I know that there's a lot of people you talk to where you're like, okay, I feel like you kind of force that plug in there that you're doing this. And in my younger years, I'm just going to make a reference into the multi-level marketing realm.
Mm-hmm.
It never seemed genuine. That was the one thing that never sat or implanted with me. It never seemed genuine. But since I got into real estate, I tell everybody. And I'm not looking for a listing or another client. I just want to tell them what I'm doing. And I feel like the more you get it out and the more you can talk to them about what you're doing and you're genuine with it, you're going to attract the people that you want to work with. And then your leads will never dry up. So
absolutely. And that's, you hit the nail on the head, because it's never about I used to tell my sales agents, again, when I was like coaching with them, the second that you start seeing dollar signs above people's heads, you've lost.
Yeah.
It's not about just looking at people like, oh, you're a lead, oh, you're a potential commission check. Absolutely not. If you're doing that, you're doing the game wrong.
Right.
Totally. It's about relationships and just connecting with people. And the beauty about real estate, everybody needs a place to live. Everybody's always interested to know what their home's worth, what's happening in the market, what new development projects are happening, what's happening. So you can have these amazing, genuine conversations that don't necessarily have to. It's not like you're trying to tell that person, "Come list with me right now," right? But you're just having a genuine, authentic conversation about the market and all the cool things that are happening and what's evolving.
Yeah.
And then maybe down the road they use you, and even if they don't, if you've provided them value and you've created a genuine relationship, the leads will come.
They will.
It's all about genuine, authentic connection. Absolutely.
Yep. You never know what impact you're giving on somebody. So I know that there was one person that I spoke to, didn't end up listing with me, listed with a different firm. But I got a lead after that was done, because I didn't get that. They had I think it was a family member who worked with a different brokerage, and I was like, yeah, go work with them, obviously. But they liked my approach to it, my genuine nature of I just want to help you make a good decision. And if you're going to go with family, I'll still call you. We're still friends.
Exactly.
And they appreciated that so much that their friend was looking to buy. So they gave me the contact point there. So you never know who you're going to touch. And if you come in genuine, it'll be wonderful for your business. So
exactly.
No, that is very cool. So you were boots on the ground agent for how many years?
So I was boots on the ground agent for about 3 years. Started in the Philadelphia market, which was super exciting and fun and awesome. And then we moved out to Colorado for my husband's job. And so then I picked up same brokerage, but picked up out here in Colorado, got licensed here. And then in Colorado, I had the opportunity to join the management team. And so about 2.5 years ago now, almost 3 years ago, I actually joined the sales management team with Coldwell Banker out here in Colorado.
Okay.
And that was where transitioning from just selling, right, and just kind of being in my own little world every day, building up my own little real estate business, transitioning from that to a 10,000-foot view of managing a couple hundred agents out of an office.
Yeah.
That's when I really started to see, that's where Armored Agent and my money coaching business actually started.
Oh, okay.
That's where that transition began. Yeah. What I noticed, 90%, I'd say 90% of the job when I was in the sales management role, most of that job was around coaching agents on their businesses, right? So while I still have an active real estate license, that went on the back burner because my priority shifted to helping other agents with their business. And what I noticed is that when they come into their coaching sessions with some type of business problem that they wanted to talk through and kind of strategize on, most of the challenges, most of the problems, most of the issues and the stress that my agents felt, it boiled down to money. And when we would dig deep beneath the surface and really get into it, most of the issues came from a lack of money management. So it could be things like they had no problem selling, and really most of the agents I worked with, they were phenomenal at selling real estate, right? Like they knew how to prospect, they knew how to take care of their clients, they knew how to add value, they knew how to negotiate, they knew how to get to closing successfully, right? And they had a lot of happy clients. They were making these huge commission checks, right? So everything seemed to be fine and dandy. Yep. But when you lift the hood, when you dug beneath the surface, a lot of them were in serious financial trouble because once they got the commission check, they didn't know how to manage it. They didn't know how to spend smartly. They didn't know how to save. oftentimes they were taking those commission checks and using it to pay off past bad behavior.
Yeah.
Right? So like paying off overdue credit card balances, paying off back taxes to the IRS because they didn't pay their estimated taxes in advance. A million different money issues. And so that, Armored Agent, my company, I started it out of frustration because I would see these rock star sales agents who were so good at their craft markets. Like I can't emphasize enough how good they were at selling real estate.
Yep.
But they were in financial ruin because they didn't know what to do once they got the commission check.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I started my company.
It's an all too familiar, repetitive pattern that I see. And I can't, normally I remember what book I read and I got the quote from this book, but this quote, I cannot remember where I got it, but it always sits in the back of my head because it's a fear of mine. When I was coming up and getting into real estate, single father with a kid, and finances was like my main thing. I had to get over that hurdle of, all right, I'm going to lose my very conservative, W-2 income with health insurance. I'm going to go to this wild west of commission only. How am I going to make it? But you start reading about do's and don'ts of managing your own money as a contractor and all that stuff. And then along that education for myself, I was reading about, and I wish I knew who said it, but they were talking about being broke at a higher level. And they were saying you can make $50,000 and spend $50,000, and at the end of the year you're at zero. And you can make $150,000 and spend $150,000, and you're at zero. You're just broke at a higher level.
Yep.
And I was like, that concept, it just made it so simple. And I was like, okay, I just have to look at what my expenses are. And once I make more money, it doesn't mean I need to spend more money. I'm comfortable. And we actually just had a guest on last week talking about the fire. What was it? Fire. Have you heard of that one?
Yep.
Out of Canada?
The fire movement, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. So I was reading on that all week. So that was fun. But just talking about getting a hold of your finances, and it sounds like it's right up your alley. So
it is. It is, and that is what I preach about. That is what I coach about. I love that phrase, broke at a higher level, because it's absolutely right. So many, and it's not just, I coach independent contractors, realtors, that type of thing. But it's not just a problem isolated to independent contractors. We see this in the W-2 world too, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So the broke at a higher level concept. And what happens there, so many people think that they can outrun or out-earn their money bad behavior. And let's step back for a minute. If you Google right now, how to get out of debt, how to do these different things. If you Google right now, you will see thousands of articles pop up, right? And it's a lot of fluff pieces, it's a lot of listicles, a lot of bullets with here are the top 5 ways to reduce your expenses in 2020. Now the thing about it is some of those articles, they're good, right? And they're good little tips, but tactics don't matter if the root cause is figured out, right? So until you dig deep and really understand, okay, well, why do I feel the need to spend this money like it's burning a hole in my pocket, right? Why do I feel like I deserve this thing when maybe you don't, right? We have this issue in America with entitlement, with overspending, with
the consumer culture. Yep.
Yep. It's our society has normalized being in debt and saying, well, it's okay. It's okay. Everybody does it. It's how you keep up. It's how it's how you have this ultimate life right now. But the truth of the matter is that's all breeding a really, really toxic relationship with money.
Yeah.
And so until you dig into your personal money mindset of what makes you tick, why you act the way you act, the tactics aren't going to matter. The quick fixes are not going to fix it. And that's how you see people who make $100, $200, $300, $500,000 a year, and they're broke because they haven't reined in their money mindset.
Yep.
So that is what my company, Armored Agent, is all about. It's not just money coaching, it's money mindset coaching. And it's really digging in and going deep to figure out your relationship with money. And if it's toxic, how do we fix it? And how do we turn it around so you can win?
Yeah.
So you can financially win. That's what it's all about.
And it is a mindset. I remember going through when I was making the jump into real estate, changing my mindset on it. And obviously you've heard it before, I'm sure, but the book that kind of like made me more comfortable and changed my mindset and how I looked at finances and how I looked at expenses was Rich Dad Poor Dad. It opened my eyes. I'm doing this all wrong. Like I'm sitting here struggling at a game that I'm doing incorrectly. So I fully dove in. Rich Dad Poor Dad. I bought the game. I play the game. It's a tapered down version of the game with my son who's 5. Because like I don't want him to be in my position where he's not understanding how you can be successful in it. Now, does he get the whole concept of it now? No. But I'm hoping that if we start this at 5, when he does have money, he's in that mindset, kind of trained already, so he doesn't have to get that whole hurdle of retraining your mind on how finances work and not buying into this consumer culture. Because I will happily admit, I love Goodwill. Thrift shops are amazing. That reuse.
I do too, Marcus.
Oh my God, I love Goodwill. I love Goodwill.
I do too. Oh my gosh, that just made my day.
It's great, and my son loves Goodwill. We still go to the dollar store so he just got a little Pokemon wallet. He's into Pokemon. But as we're talking about finances and all this, he loves going when we go over by like the strip mall thing that we go to as Goodwill and dollar store. So we'll go into Goodwill, we'll pick out our stuff. We go to the dollar store. He pulls out his wallet. He knows that a toy there is $1, but he can't just bring $1 because there's tax. So I've been talking about like tax. So he brings $1.05. And for me, like I love seeing the light bulb go off with him because we're like, all right, we're gonna go get a toy, and he's like, all right, I'll grab my wallet, and I'll see him put $1 and then 5 cents in because he knows like that little bit, which is super cool. The first time he did it, I got chills. I don't get chills anymore, but I thought that was super cool. But my son will be calling you once he's a teenager to get that further knowledge, I'm sure.
And another way, a great parenting hack, another way to teach your kid about taxes is to, every 3 pieces of Halloween candy they get, you got to take one.
Oh, there's absolutely dad tax in our household.
Yeah, parent tax, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I call it mom tax. Exactly. It's a great lesson.
In our household, it is the dad tax, and then we've got the mom bailout package.
Oh, I love it.
Some of the kids don't eat their dinner. So here comes mom. It's like, okay, you have 5 chicken nuggets. And they're like, I can't eat 5. And she's like, all right, I'll take 2. And I was like, this is a bailout package. But I'm just, it's like a little just poking the bear on that one. But yeah, the dad tax is alive and well. It's doing great things for my diet. But, oh yeah.
Well, and on a serious note, what a gift that you play the Rich Dad Poor Dad game with him at 5, and what a gift that he has at 5 years old. And yeah, I mean, some of it he doesn't get now, but he will as he gets older to have grown up with that just being the way of life for him, and the lessons he learned. That's an immeasurable gift, Marcus. Yeah, truly. And if we did that with more kids in America, if we found a way to incorporate more financial education into middle school and high school. I can't tell you much of anything about trigonometry, calculus, any of that now. Right. But I wish I had a stock market class. I wish I had a real estate investing class. I wish I had even a basic class on, how to manage a checking account versus a savings account. And I was lucky that my parents were great and gave me solid financial education. But not everybody gets that. Right. So could you imagine if our country was able to just incorporate a basic level, a basic course into middle school or high school curriculum, the generational change, what we could see in one generation. Right. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox.
No, I was going to follow it up, so you can't be done, because I was just talking, obviously driving out to Colorado, we had about 18 hours in the truck to talk, And I was talking to my brother about that exact same thing, about how our curriculum now in middle school and high school, there's no finance classes, there's no investing classes. The whole school system is you show up at this time, the bell rings, you go to your next math class, the bell rings, you go to your English class, the bell rings, you go to this class. And there's no, everything is so rigid, and we need metrics, we need to know like test scores, and like where is the class where they can like research their things that they're interested in and expand their mind and challenge themselves on topics that they want, because they're going to learn those themes. They're going to learn to do math if they're into dirt biking, because if you want to work on dirt bikes and on engines, how are you not going to learn mathematics and chemistry and physics through all of that? Or if you're into painting and arts, if that's where your passion is, like I think getting kids in a younger generation to feel somewhat inspired that they can actually take what they're interested in and go learn about it for even 45 minutes a day, just one class period. And not just like a study hall where I was guilty of this, where you don't really do anything. You just kind of sit there and talk to your friends.
Right.
But make it where maybe the start of the semester, you can pick what you're interested in, and you just basically use that time to research and get into it. And then boom, at the end of the semester, you give your presentation or whatever, and you kind of leave it free-flowing where people can go in and explore. I think that's one way, and this was my argument to my brother about that's one way to change the culture that we're in, because right now, 90, maybe 80 to 90% of kids grow up with parents who are W-2 in financial stress, and that's what they know. So when their parents are talking to them about taxes and tax brackets and their income and health insurance, they don't know the world of 1099 or independent contractor for the most part.
Right.
So they just continue that pattern. Where I want to say, okay, Miles, there is a different world. Miles is my son, sorry. And we can learn about this early. And that was one experience that I didn't realize I was getting as I was younger. But I had one parent who was W-2, get a job, go in at 9, be done at 5, clock out, leave your work at work, come home, be with the family. And then I had one parent who was like, there's more out there. You can have a side hustle. You can do all these things. Like, these are benefits of having your own business. And I was the youngest of 3 who kind of meshed with both parents. So I got what I feel is like the best of both worlds. I got the W-2 quote unquote security side of it. And I got the Wild West independent contractor background of it too. And I feel like I just kind of melded both together in a way.
That's fabulous. And that was actually, Marcus, that was actually my experience too. Like my dad always had the W-2, and my mom also had W-2 and her side hustles, and real estate and her own direct marketing company. And so it's amazing if you can have that exposure to all those different worlds, because it's not, there isn't one that's necessarily better than the other. Like, there's a place for W-2 employment. There's a place for independent contracting. There's where I think it can go off the rails with people is if they feel like they have to go down a path even if it's not meant for them.
Yeah.
Right? So they think, oh, well, like, I have to go get a W-2 job because that's what my parents did, and that's what their parents did before them, and it's just what life is. And to your point, where you said earlier, you had exposure, and I was also fortunate to have the exposure of, well, there is that option, but there are also all of these other options. There are so many ways to, quote unquote, make it in life. Yeah. It doesn't have to be just the one that everybody seems to know, which is a W-2, right? Yeah. It can be so many different ways. It can be a combination. And you said another thing I wanted to circle back to, because I just thought it was such a beautiful point you made about going back to middle school, high school education, right? And if we just gave kids even one block of time a day to explore something that they love, how transformative that would be. Yeah. And
in a cultural way.
It is.
Yeah, because I know if I was in middle school, I'd probably be researching, I don't know, hockey or basketball. Obviously, my career did not work out where I was hockey or basketball professional athlete. But just the mindset of them knowing that they can go do that and, hey, this is something that I could do to make money on. It might not be the same thing when you're 25, 30 years old, but you instilled like that culture, that mindset in them that can grow. So even if you research skateboarding in 7th grade and it turns out that you're into farming, just that ability to know that, hey, I can research, this is how it's done, I've done this before, I've got a background on it, you just apply that to a different field, and at least you have that background of that comfort that it's been done and you can do it again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And I think, with education in this country too, we push traditional college too much. And I'll say that coming from a background of, I went to traditional college, and I have a 4-year degree, I have an MBA. Like I went through the traditional school system. But even saying that, there's so many kids right now who are incredibly talented. They're incredibly brilliant, but they don't necessarily you don't have to go to college. You don't have to get a traditional degree to succeed in this world at all. And we see that every day in our real estate world, right? Like some of the most talented realtors I know don't have degrees, and they're killing it. They know, they have incredible emotional intelligence. They have incredible business savvy. They've built amazing systems, and they've leveraged effectively where they've built an incredible system that works for them. If only we did a better job of accepting that in our country and telling kids, you know what, maybe college is for you and maybe it's not. And that does not mean that you're not going to be something incredibly brilliant. That you're not going to contribute in your own amazing way. Right? We need more of that.
Yeah. We can only hope. We can only hope. Yep. And I know that I did, because I worked for a nonprofit within school districts. I worked a lot with high schools, some colleges, but still to this day, there is one high school teacher coach that I worked with that will be my favorite forever. I went in after school and I was sitting talking to him. I was like, oh, what do you teach? And he was like, oh, I do finance. And I was like, oh, this is literally the first coach in 4 years that I ran into that was teaching finance. They've taught economics, but it wasn't a finance class that early on in education. And he said, do you want to take a look at his class makeup, or I think he called it an abstract. I was like, sure, that sounds great. And I was starting to read, and I got to like the first paragraph, and I was like, you're literally making a classroom like a little microcosm of a society. So you had 30 people in a classroom. You had one real estate agent. You had a doctor. You had a couple factory workers. You had a farmer. Everybody got a salary. When you showed up for class, you got paid. You'd randomly have a baby. You'd randomly have your car break down. And you had to take your income. And if you were sick, you didn't get paid because some were salary, some were hourly. And I was like, first off, how long did this take you to write? And two, I hope this is going well. Because if I had this class in high school, I would be there every day because that was exciting. That was fun.
That sounds so fun. I wish that something like that was everywhere in schools across the country. Because how powerful is that? Because that's real world.
Yeah.
That's real world of you get up and whatever your job is, you go to work every day, and the car randomly breaks down, and you do have the kid gets sick unexpectedly. You got to miss work to go take him to the doctor. That is life.
Yeah.
And those are real life skills, not trigonometry, at least not for me.
Yeah, I don't think I've used trigonometry once yet. I don't think I have. Well, I mean, I love your mindset, and I'm so interested to learn more about your company. So can you give us a background of starting that in where you're at right now with your company?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So I'm still an active realtor, and so I still sell homes, but it's on the back burner because my focus is building my company. Mm-hmm. So I officially left my real estate sales management role earlier this year to start full time and focus all of my attention on Armored Agent. And Armored Agent is both the name of my company and my flagship money course. And it's a deep dive crash course that's basically focused exclusively on overhauling the independent contractor money mindset. So yes, we talk numbers. Yes, we talk budgets. One of the very first things I have students in the course do is pull out all their numbers and face the music, whatever it looks like, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the core of the curriculum is really digging into money scripts, what you tell yourself about money, your driving reasons why you do what you do. We go way back into really childhood, because what so many people don't realize is the reason they interact, whether good, bad, or ugly. So how they interact with their money now is influenced from when they were kids and what they observed their parents doing, their town doing, where they came from. So we go really far back into childhood to see what kind of money impressions they had then and what is working now and what isn't working, and then we flip that. So I have my flagship course. I also do a lot of one-on-one coaching as well as workshops and keynote speeches. So I go into brokerages and I give workshops to a whole group of agents, introducing them to the Armored Agent Money Mindset. So that's
love
the
that
gist
idea
of what I'm doing every day.
I'm studying to get my brokerage license right now. And I've had a couple, because we do house flips right now and rental properties. And a couple people that are working with me are either graduating college or on the last couple semesters of college, and they've talked to me about becoming an agent. So once I get that brokerage up and running with a few agents, you'll be in talking to them. That's for sure.
I would love that. And I would love that opportunity, because it's so often agents come into the business and they're looking for the silver bullet, or like the one thing, right, that's going to catapult them from nothing to a couple $100,000 a year in income, and so often you have to start with the foundational steps. And what we do a lot of is breaking it back down into the basic foundational steps and starting there, so we can catapult you. So whenever you're ready, I'd love to speak to your team.
Oh, that would be great. I mean, I would love for them to get the mindset that you have and run with that one. That would be exciting. So, and I'll be taking your crash course here.
What was that?
I'll be taking your crash course for sure.
Awesome. Oh, I would love that.
It sounds great. So I'm excited to take that one.
Thank you.
And for everybody else, in the end of our show, when we post it online, we'll be putting a link to anywhere that they can access that one. So hopefully the people listening can click on that. And if they want to take that course as well, obviously they can get in contact with you. Or can you do this online? Is that like a sign up online thing?
Yeah, there is a sign up online. I'll send you the link for sure.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, we'll add that to the show for sure. So when you go in I'm assuming that you go to the brokerage level, you talk to brokers about your program, your company, how you can help out, and then you get with the broker and you talk to the agents, if I understand that correctly?
Exactly.
So when you go in and you
you
talk to the brokers and you talk to these agents, is there one theme or one concept that you consistently see that either is missing or they're misusing or don't fully understand that you can come in and correct? Is there, or a couple themes?
That's a great question. I think, so I think in terms of like some of the biggest mistakes I see agents making, and this is it's at all production levels. That's what's so fascinating, right? I see a lot. I see a lot of trying to keep up with the Joneses, right? So I'll see a new agent come in, and the new agent who's never sold a house or has only a couple homes under their belt is trying to keep up with the $20, $30, $40 million producer in the office.
Right.
And it's like, well, you will get there if you apply consistent work ethic, but there's this constant trying to keep up with the Joneses. And then the other one is comparison, right?
Yep.
There's this, I see a constant, well, this person has this, and I'm jealous, and I want it, so I'm going to go get it too, even if I can't afford it, even if it's beyond where I'm at, even if it doesn't make sense with my business,
yep.
and in my business strategy, what I've outlined. Those are the two, I would say, biggest mistakes I see agents making, and unfortunately, it translates financially. I also see agents a lot. They'll have invested in let's say, like hypothetically, they've invested in a marketing program or a new a new system
Mm-hmm.
or just something, right? They've put up hundreds or thousands of dollars for something new. Because again, they agents suffer a lot from silver bullet syndrome, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the new shiny object.
Yep.
So they'll invest in it. It's not working for their business. It's clear it's not working, but they figure, it's already sunk cost. Let me keep spending money on it because maybe one of these days it'll pay off. And I urge them at that point. We work together to really. We got to look at the ROI. You have to look at the numbers. You have to look at the hard and fast numbers, not how you feel, not hanging your hope on something, but it's looking at the hard numbers and going, does this make sense? Am I seeing a return on my investment? If not, cut the cord, move on with life.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So those are just kind of high level. Those are three things I see a lot of: shiny object syndrome and the unwillingness to part with something that's not working, keeping up with the Joneses, and constantly comparing to other people to their detriment. Those are definitely, I see that a lot. No matter production level, no matter what brokerage, that's everywhere.
Yeah, and that keeping up with the Joneses is, I would imagine, the hardest thing to break, because I see that a lot as well, and it's a hard concept for people that, okay, my friends are going to go out on a Friday and Saturday, or Friday or Saturday, and then the next morning we're going to go to brunch,
Right.
and then I'm only saying this because it came out today. Apparently, the new PS5 is out, so I have to get the new PS5 because my friends are getting it. So there's all these things where like, okay, we're going to go spend money. And it's like, well, what are you doing? If you're going to do that, what are you doing to like make more money for that? Because like you're just spending money that was going to go into savings.
Right.
So when I made the switch, I was like, okay. And after I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, I went into Excel and I was like, okay, here are my income streams. Here are my fixed incomes. Here are my variable expenses. Here are like my one-off expenses. And I would always every month go through. It was painful at the start. And that was the worst part. When you start looking at your finances, because you've never done it, it seems like it takes all day to do.
Right.
But now that I've done it once, it goes so much quicker and it's so much easier because I know what I'm looking for. And that goes back to the education. I didn't do that when I was younger. I never had a class of, hey, let's go through your finances.
Right.
Now you're making me want to go back through my finances. I think I'm going to go through my spreadsheet when we're
yes,
done
Natasha,
tonight.
do it.
I
do
love
it,
it.
Natasha.
I'm super
it's
frugal.
It's going to be so cathartic.
I'm super frugal. My husband likes to spend a little bit more than I do, so I like have to rein him in every month. And I'm like, stop! What are you buying?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so that's actually, Natasha, I'm glad you said that because that's actually a really, that's super common, right? It's very, very common in a lot of relationships. You'll have one person who tends to be, and it's not always, right, but you have one person who tends to be a little more inclined to save more, and the other person is inclined to maybe spend a bit more. And it's okay to spend money too. Like, now I'm a pretty frugal person, but there are things that I enjoy spending money on, and I do. It's all about building in buffer at that point, right? So, like, just as an example of, like, something that works for me and my husband, we have budgeted, we have 2 line items, and it's the Katie Fun Fund and the Andy Fun Fund.
Yep.
Right?
That's what
so, like,
we do
Katie
too.
and Andy each get a little bit of money every month to do whatever we want with it. Like, my husband loves to brew beer, so, like, he'll buy brew kits and brew. I love to go to Goodwill. We talked about. So, like, I'll go thrifting, right? Like, I enjoy thrift stores. So, like, I'll go thrifting, and sometimes I find things that I'll, like, flip on eBay for fun.
There you
or
go.
Sometimes I find things for myself. But but the point is, whatever that amount is, it's totally okay that he likes to spend money. But just picking them out and building the buffer. And then just go enjoy life, because I'm getting ahead of myself. There's an author called Ramit Sethi. Have you heard of him?
Mm-mm.
I'll send you his info after and the name of his book. So he's a financial expert, wrote a great book called I Will Teach You to Be Rich. And he talks about budgeting and investing and, like, all these things that we love to nerd out on, right? But one of the things that he talks about is it's okay to spend money it's just you can't necessarily spend money on everything. So you have to identify what your dials are. He calls them he calls them money dials. So like you figure out the top things that are worth it to you. Focus your money spending there because obviously it brings you joy, but then find other ways, ruthlessly cut back on the other areas. Right? So you can support the areas of your life that you do enjoy spending money.
Yeah.
So. I get joy in spending, paying off my mortgage faster.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great one. Yeah. That's a fabulous one.
Yeah.
Yep. But see, so Natasha, that for you, it sounds like you and your husband paying off your mortgage faster earlier, that is one of your driving whys, right?
Oh, yeah,
so you
for
can
sure.
easily look at things and go, you know what, like I could spend money on, I'm just making this up, right? Like I could spend money on this weekend getaway.
Right.
It'll cost us $500. Well, that's $500 that we can throw towards our mortgage and move our timeline up that much faster.
Exactly.
Like that is your priority.
Yeah.
Right?
When I told my
husband that you've identified that.
When I told my husband that we were gonna like flip it from a 30-year to a 15-year, he was like, "Gulp! Like that's a lot more money that we're putting on there, Natasha." And I go, "I know it is, but I mean, think about how good it's gonna feel in 15 years when our mortgage is completely paid off and we have this whole lump sum of money in our bank account every month."
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh!
And I know
how much faster then you can leverage, other real estate investments or your retirement accounts or wherever. I mean, that's just. Like that, and that's how you win, right? And you win, and you guys are on that path because you made the conscious decision of this is what we're going to do, right? And just by making that decision, you're ahead of, you're ahead of 90% of the population easily.
That's my goal.
So there you go.
And I think you said it well when it's okay to spend money.
Right.
And just piggybacking off your idea of this trip that's going to cost us $500, and Natasha was like, well, we could spend that on our mortgage. Mm-hmm. If you try to explain it or try to understand or get your mindset with your partner where you're like, okay, we could spend $500 on this trip or we could put it towards the mortgage. And they're like, oh, I don't want to put all the money towards the mortgage. Like your idea or your partner's concept was like spending quality time with you on this trip. We don't have to put all $500 towards the mortgage. We could put $400 towards the mortgage and then just spend $100 on a babysitter and a date night. Mm-hmm. So you're not losing that quality time with your partner, but you're also putting $400 more into it. So you get kind of like the best of both worlds. There's always a way to do it. There's never one steadfast way.
Compromise,
yeah.
Exactly. That's a beautiful compromise. And then, and then neither person you don't feel shortchanged. You don't feel like you're missing out. Like, oh, I'm having to make this huge sacrifice because we made this mortgage plan. No, that's a great example. I love that.
Yeah.
Best of both worlds. You still get to have fun because life should be enjoyed.
Yep.
Right? It shouldn't just all be crunching numbers and tough trade-offs.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
It can be enjoyed.
You keep the fun. You can still spend money and get your stuff done as a married couple, or if you're dating or engaged, whatever state of life you're in. You can always compromise with your partner to get what both of you want done and enjoy it. So that's like a whole nother thing.
I just thought Marcus got real serious.
You just got another book. How to
Are you
manage...
writing a book on this?
No, I'm saying you could just write another book of how to negotiate finances within relationships.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Bestseller right there.
Bestseller. First step, get a bottle of wine and hire a babysitter.
Oh, my God. You just spoke right to my husband. I think you spoke directly to him.
Funny.
So I know we talked about the mistakes. Are there like recurring themes or like one success story that you got when you went into either a brokerage or you talked specifically to an agent where they just had like that light bulb moment or that flight of like, oh, I get it?
Oh my gosh, yeah. So I teach a couple of different types of workshops, right? And what I do is I work with the specific brokerage ahead of time to identify like which theme, which topic is going to be the best for their agents at that time, right? So this was probably about a little over a year ago. I was in a brokerage, and I was actually teaching I have a workshop called Why Your Why, okay? And
Mm-hmm.
what we do, it's a 2 to 3 hour workshop, and we do a deep dive just into helping agents identify like what their actual real driving reason for getting out of bed every day is, right? Because it's become very cliche to say, well, you got to have your why. You know, what's your goal? But the thing is, a lot of people just gloss over it because they think it's soft and they think it's frou-frou. So they'll go, okay, well, my why is, I don't know, I got into real estate because I want to make a lot of money. Okay, great, sure. Everybody wants to make a lot of money. But why do you want to make that money? What is your intention and your purpose? And so we spend 2 to 3 hours in a deep dive workshop just digging and answering that question. So I was in one of my why workshops, I guess about a year and a half ago. And we were going through, and one of the things I do in that workshop towards the end, not the very end, but towards the end, some of the brave agents who are willing to will stand up and share their exercise, right? And we go through all the layers that we've been through. And one of the agents, this I'll never forget, this quiet guy sitting in the back, and he had been an active participant, but had just been kind of quiet and unassuming through the whole thing. So he stands up, and he's a little reluctant at first. You know, you could tell he was a little shy, but we went through this exercise together. He went through it in front of all of his colleagues, about 40 people in the room. And he had started the day just saying kind of a stereotypical, I got into real estate because I want more time, and I got into real estate because I don't want to answer to a boss, and I want to make some money. Mm-hmm. But when we peeled back the layers of the onion, if you will, the year before he got into real estate, he had been just chugging along in life, relatively young, you know, married with kids, and he had been diagnosed very unexpectedly with stage 4 cancer. And he was given, his doctor told him, you've got 6 months. Like, this is really late stage.
Wow.
And so he thought he was dying. And against all odds, you know, so he started chemotherapy, radiation, went through the whole rigmarole. And he was supposed to be dead. And he defied odds. And 6 months later, he didn't die. He went through everything. And he was on his way to recovery.
That's awesome.
Wow.
He gets up in front of this group of 40 of his colleagues, and he tells the story about basically how he was like, you know, guys, I should be dead right now. I shouldn't even be here. I was supposed to be dead a while ago. Somehow chemo worked for me, and now I'm here. And so the reason I got into real estate, it's not just to have time. It's to have time with my beautiful wife and my kids, because I had a front row seat to seeing that life can be too short, and life can be taken from you. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps just recounting his story again.
Chills.
Yeah.
I have chills.
I'm literally sad.
He almost died. You know, he got as close to it as you can get. And he said, so really my driving why, and he didn't even realize it until we had walked through these steps together in this workshop. But he said, I am on borrowed time. And right now I'm healthy and I'm healing and I'm doing really great. And life is so precious. And he said, you know what? And I'm not just in this to make money. I'm in it to make money because my wife and I want to start a foundation for families who aren't as lucky as ours. So there are families who do lose loved ones to cancer, and they have no money and overwhelming medical debt, and they don't know what to do, and we want to help them.
That's awesome.
That's really sweet.
Suddenly, like, identifying that why, right? That changes everything. That will put a fire in your gut, right? Like, that lights you up and makes you want to hop out of bed and go, I'm going to dominate another day.
Yep.
Because life's too short, right? So, anyway, that hearing him tell that story to that group of people, there wasn't a dry eye in the room, by the way. I mean,
I can see
tears
that.
and goosebumps, and but I have to say that was an incredible success story, and I was so happy that he was not only able to finally put words with it and identify those feelings of that why that he felt, but that he could share his story with that whole room. It was incredibly inspiring.
Yeah.
Truly.
That is very cool. And it sounds like you have a very great way of finding that for people? Because a lot of the times it's more surface level why of I want to get into real estate because I want a fancy car. And you're like, well, that's not your real reason. So it sounds like you have a really good knack of digging a little bit deeper, asking why about 10 to 15 times before you can really get to like that root of what is their why.
That's exactly it. It's because it is so much cheaper. It's never just about a car. People think it is, right? So people, if you think it's just about a car, you think it's just about having great clothes or the house or the whatever. There's always something so much deeper. So much deeper. And it's the same with finding and really understanding how you relate to money. It's never what you think it is on the surface. And it's so fun. It's so fun and gratifying to help agents really identify that and get in touch with that. And when we get down to the root of that, that's when you see their whole business plan changes, their whole approach to how they are building their wealth legacy.
Yep.
It's a total 180.
Yeah, and I'm sure their motivation changes.
After.
I mean, like you said it before, like that story, that'll get you out of bed. So if you really dive deep and you find your why, getting up in the morning is not going to be a struggle. Making that lead generation call is not going to be a struggle. Throwing a shameless plug in someone that you meet at the coffee shop about you in real estate is not going to be hard.
Right.
Once you find that cornerstone of why you're doing it, that cornerstone in your mentality of why you're doing what you're doing.
Exactly. It changes everything.
Yeah.
It changes everything.
Yeah. And that's and that's not just 1099 contractor world. That's W-2 as well.
Absolutely.
Like I was just talking to my brother on the way out to Colorado, and I told him my why, and he was telling me his why. He's full-time military in the Army, and he just told me, like, on the way out, he's like, I took this job and I took this promotion because I wanted to be home. I wanted time. I didn't want to work nights. I didn't want to work weekends. I knew that, but I wanted to be home. I wanted to be with my wife. I wanted to be with my 4 kids. So like that is my why. And I was like, that's awesome. Because me and him live way different worlds. Obviously, he's military and I'm a floater. So he is very regimented, and this is his plan, and this is what we're going to do. This is A, B, C. And I'm like, well.
Sounds like my husband and I, too.
So like, I'm always like, well, you could do B first and then like jump to F and then come back to A.
I've never been able to work for anybody else. I've always owned my own business.
Yeah.
I can't ever imagine working for anybody else.
But
and for you to know that and be so lucky and to have the courage to pursue that, Natasha, like that's incredible.
I tried working for somebody
once. You know
once.
that about yourself.
That didn't go well.
Oh yeah.
That's how I met Marcus, was when I was working for somebody else. So.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we worked at the same brokerage.
Yep.
That's where we connected.
Got it. Very cool. Very cool.
The relationship lasted.
Yeah.
The employments did not. But the relationship lasted. Yeah. No, but I mean, going back to your company and how you approach the financial world, I'm like kind of inspired at like how you can dive deep into that. And sometimes people are very reserved and they don't want to let people into that world. So kudos to you for being able to dive into like that deeper level and kind of change the mindset. That's awesome.
Well, thank you. Thank you for saying that. It was such a, in that particular one was such a cool breakthrough moment, because he was so shy at the beginning. And he ended up just, taking down the room. It was amazing. It was amazing.
That is
awesome.
great. And I know a lot of the people that have like those deep, deep whys, and I'm saying that from my perspective, this may not be for everybody, but like I never liked sharing my why and why I do what I do, because I feel like I'm going to bog people down, or like I'm going to take over the room, and I don't want to take over the room. Like I just want my why to be inside. But for him to come out and share it, like you can see the impact it made on other people.
Right.
And I'm sure you didn't do it in an overwhelming, boasting way of like, look at me, flashy.
Oh no, not at all. Like the opposite.
Yeah, it goes back to that
opposite.
genuine, just genuine belief in what you're doing.
Exactly. Yes. And that's the thing too. It doesn't. It's okay if you want to keep your why to yourself too. That's absolutely okay. After another keynote I did last year, I actually got a letter from an agent so he was somebody in the audience. It wasn't he didn't make a huge deal out of it in the moment, but he wrote me a letter a couple months later, right, and said, "Hey, this was the impact that it had." Right, so it is okay to keep your why to yourself and to be quiet about it. But the important thing is just to be honest with yourself, because so often we kid ourselves, because we kid ourselves and we cheat ourselves.
Yeah,
because
it's
we'll
scary.
Say, "Oh yeah, it's just because I want a car. It's just because I want this. It's just because," and we owe it to ourselves to go deeper and to ask ourselves and hold ourselves accountable to that deeper, tougher answer, because that's where breakthrough happens.
Yeah, and to get out of that, I always that first answer I never believe, and I don't know if I'm just cynical, but they're like, okay, why do you want to become an agent? I just my friend made a lot of money. He was young, and anytime I want to go golfing, he's available because he's in real estate, so I want to do it. I'm like, well, why do you want to golf so much? Or ask a follow-up question, because that's not the why.
Right.
I usually have to ask it 5 to 10 times to get to the root.
Yep.
And once you get there, it's going to stick. Once you get him to think about that, it's going to stick. So, man, I'm excited to read more of your stuff.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I'm excited as well.
I took a look at her blog, and it's really good, so I think you should probably look at that.
Oh, I absolutely will. And we can leave the link onto the blog on the show notes. Perfect. We're going to do everything we can to turn people your direction. And you work outside of just the Denver area where you're from, correct?
I do. And the beauty, I will say this, the beauty of the environment that we're in is that so many more people have gotten more comfortable with Zoom.
Oh, yeah.
And so I do virtual workshops. I do a lot of my coach. All of my coaching right now is on Zoom. And the beauty of that is being able to really reach anywhere, right? So
absolutely.
It makes it on that front. It makes it so much easier, because actually it's a great platform to reach so many people beyond Denver, Colorado.
Yeah, and I know a lot more people need your mindset and need your knowledge to help them through. I'll call it the struggle that they're in, or the rut that they're in, that they can't seem to break out of and get into that next echelon or mindset that they need to be in. I know more people need that.
Right.
Which I'm glad we got a chance to talk, and we can share this with our audience, because I know no matter if you're in that W-2 world or if you're in real estate, I'm sure themes that you have are going to apply to their life that will just make them happier, make them more productive.
Oh.
So.
Thank you, and I believe that too. It's if you're having money struggles, if you're having money issues, if you're having trouble connecting the dots between what you know you need to do and then actually taking those steps, regardless of what you're doing with your life professionally, it starts with making that conscious decision of, you know what, I'm worth this. I'm worth investing in my my financial education. I'm worth investing in financial education. I'm worth becoming wealthy. I'm worth changing the way that I've always thought about money and changing it for the better, and then changing it for my kids and their kids and their kids and every generation beyond. When you make that conscious choice and decide, I'm going to be the one to do it, everything changes. Yeah. That's what it's everything changes at that point.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy I had a chance to talk to you too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been great. When I was reading about your information and reading through your, we got a little breakdown. Did you get that from her? Okay, so when I was reading that sheet that you sent over to Natasha, what I loved about yours was, it's not, hey, I'm going to come in and help you. You're going to buy this planner, and you're going to set your alarm for this time, and then you're going to go get this fancy gizmo that's going to do this for you, and you're going to buy this CRM system that's going to do this. It didn't seem like you're buying all these things and you're revamping your life. What you need to get to the level that you're talking about is just time to think about you and get into your head and and get your mindset right. And that's what I love.
Right.
That flashy gizmo thing that you need to buy, I don't buy into it. But stuff like your system, I love. It fascinates me because that's like the root. Everything comes off of that. No gizmo is going to get you through your mindset.
Nope. Exactly. You nailed it. You nailed it. It's so true. And there is no one gizmo. There is no one system. There is no one anything. Because the bottom line is that people are different.
Mm-hmm.
And what makes them tick and run is different. And
Mm-hmm.
so a huge part of what I do is help you identify and get to know yourself more, so then you can go and make decisions on which system, what schedule, what investing philosophy, what's my debt tolerance, so I know what I can and can't do for myself. It's exactly right. It's what you just. I love the way that you just phrased that. There is no gizmo for your mindset.
There isn't.
That's true.
There isn't, and I think I got that from that direct marketing past that I had, where it was always just like the gizmo that you gotta sell or buy or something like that. And I was just like, I think a lot of the people in here think like that is their solution. And I'm sitting there, and it might have been my psychology background where I'm like, man, if you could just tap into your mind and you could see how powerful that is, then that gizmo will help you. It's like I'm a baseball player, so I played, and you'd always look at the players that took steroids. And people are like, oh, they weren't good, they just took steroids. And you're like, well, they were still a great player. They still had athletic talent, and they tapped in. They made it to a high level. Their mindset was great. It just got them to the next point. I think the gizmos are just the thing that get them to the next point. But you still got to be talented. You still have to have your mind. You still have to have your body, like, working for you.
Exactly.
All right, Marcus.
Exactly.
I'm gonna be the one to stop you here for a second.
I can't stop
You're
this one.
going off topic.
I'm so off topic. But this stuff gets me fired up.
You're dragging this on. We are well over an hour. We have got to round it up.
Oh, we capped this one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, I apologize. We're going to have you on for another hour-long talk because Natasha's kicked me off the microphone.
Perfect.
I am. I'm so sorry. But, Katie, how can people get a hold of you? Because we're definitely going to do a second round of this.
Oh, absolutely.
You are
awesome.
You are our second guest that has been over an hour, so we appreciate you.
Sorry for taking your time.
How can people?
This has been so much fun. It's been such an easy conversation. Like, you guys are great. Thank you.
How can people get a hold of you?
So people can get a hold of me. You can reach me at my website, www.katiemild.com. I'm pretty active on Instagram and YouTube. So just Katie Mild.
Okay.
Or Instagram is Katie_Mild. I'll send you guys everything.
Awesome.
So in addition to the blog, I put out a weekly YouTube video through a newsletter. So like,
cool.
Your listeners are welcome to sign up for that. And that's how you can reach me.
Awesome. And you're on Facebook too, right? So I can just link.
Yes.
Okay. Great. We will link to you, and we are so grateful for you. I will be in contact with you to schedule you for our second chat.
For the next hour that I get to pick your brain.
Perfect.
No, but it has been awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I'm sorry to keep you over.
No, I didn't even notice. This was so fun.
No, it was great. I appreciate everything. Thank you so much. I know the people listening are going to take so many nuggets from your mindset and what you shared. So, and we'll link all of your contact information in the info that you shared. We'll make sure that those go in the show notes so people can get a hold of you and read your content.
That sounds awesome. Marcus, Natasha, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your night.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.